Urgent, Stephen Curry makes a strong statement about LeBron James and his future. Stay until the end to find out everything, but first leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything about the Lakers. In the modern NBA landscape, few rivalries have resonated as deeply as the one between Stephen Curry and LeBron James. Their clashes have included MVP showdowns, electrifying finals duels, and high-stakes regular seasons. Yet recently, that fierce competition has given way to a more reflective and dignified tone, especially in Curry's latest remarks concerning LeBron and the trajectory of the Los Angeles Lakers. During a widely shared post-game interview, Curry offered candid insight into LeBron's enduring presence and his perspective on the Lakers' future. "You can't ever count him out," he stated when asked about James's sustained excellence. "No matter the configuration or circumstances, he finds ways to shape the game at the topmost level. That's what true greatness is." While it may sound like standard praise among peers coming from Curry, a rival who has clashed with LeBron across multiple finals and countless battles, these words carry profound authenticity. Their history gives weight to every utterance, elevating it beyond mere sportsmanship. Curry went further, commenting not only on LeBron's individual brilliance but also on the Lakers as an organization entering a critical inflection point. "They're at an interesting juncture," he said. "New blood coming in, Bronny joining the fold, coaching turnover. But when a historic franchise really resets, they don't rebuild, they reload." That simple line speaks volumes. Curry, a product of Golden State's dynasty, knows what systemic continuity looks like. By acknowledging the Lakers' ability to swiftly return to contention, he emphasized their underlying strength despite recent underperformance. Analysts quickly noted a deeper nuance. Was Curry subtly acknowledging the Lakers' smart off-season moves? A nod to LeBron's enduring role even as age creeps in? Or was it a signal that Curry sees the Lakers as a legitimate threat once again? Regardless of intent, his tone, mixed with respect, wariness, and recognition, was unmistakable. He understands that LeBron, even in his later years and with the proper support, remains one of the NBA's elite powers. Curry also reflected on a strategic challenge he's long acknowledged: preparing to face a team led by LeBron. "You can scout him all you want, but he adapts on the fly. He sees the game unfolding before most can even read the playbook. One wrong move and he's already scored." Those remarks offer insight into Curry's mindset, emphasizing adaptability, deep respect, and strategic caution. Underneath the competitive facade lies sincere admiration. Two of basketball's sharpest minds, both aware that their rivalry means more than wins or losses. With the upcoming 2025 season on the horizon, anticipation is building. Could Curry and LeBron clash again in the playoffs? Will Bronny make an early impact? Can Curry lead another title run? Whatever happens, the undercurrent of mutual respect adds a compelling subplot. As the story unfolds over these chapters, we'll dissect how this dynamic shapes both the present and future of the NBA's most iconic rivalry. Stephen Curry didn't just enter the NBA, he altered its DNA. When the sharpshooter out of Davidson College was drafted in 2009, few could have predicted that he would go on to become one of the most transformative figures in basketball history. But through relentless effort, innovation, and fearless shooting, Curry didn't just play the game, he redefined it. In a league that had long prioritized physical dominance and above-the-rim athleticism, Curry introduced a seismic shift. His weapon: the three-point shot. But it wasn't just his accuracy that made him a phenomenon, it was the audacity. Pulling up from 30 feet with confidence, making off-balance shots look routine, Curry shattered the concept of a bad shot. By stretching the floor beyond imagination, he changed how defenses operate. Teams could no longer sag into the paint or double big men without consequence. With Curry on the floor, every defender had to extend further, sometimes into no man's land, to even stand a chance. Suddenly, the court felt wider, and space became the most valuable commodity in basketball. Curry's success wasn't just statistical, it was philosophical. He gave permission. Kids in parks, teens in high school gyms, and pros around the world began to shoot more freely. He normalized what once seemed irresponsible: the deep three, the quick release, the shot in transition. It became strategy, not showmanship. Coaches adapted. Offenses became faster, more spaced out, and centered around perimeter threats. Analytics, which had long suggested the efficiency of the three-point shot, finally found their poster child in Curry. What began as a stylistic quirk became the bedrock of the modern NBA offense. But Curry's revolution didn't stop on the court. He inspired a generation, not just to shoot but to believe that skill and IQ could triumph over physical gifts. In an era of towering athleticism, Curry proved that precision, creativity, and work ethic could be equally, if not more, impactful. His influence extended to roster construction. Teams began prioritizing shooting in every position, building lineups that could switch, stretch, and strike from deep. Centers learned to shoot. Guards became more versatile. Lineups became positionless, all because one man proved it was not only possible, but unstoppable. And yet, Curry remains humble in the face of all this. "I just tried to be myself," he once said. "I didn't set out to change the game, I just wanted to play it the way I saw it." But intention doesn't limit impact. Whether he meant to or not, Curry sparked a movement. From AAU gyms to international leagues, his shadow looms large. He made shooting cool. He made skill king. As we move further into this new era, where deep shooting is expected and innovation is constant, Curry's fingerprints remain on every play. Even the next generation, players like Trae Young, Tyrese Halliburton, and Jordan Poole, carry his influence like a badge. What Michael Jordan did for branding and global reach, Curry did for the way basketball is actually played. He took a tool, shooting, and turned it into an engine for evolution. In doing so, he didn't just make history. He became it. Stephen Curry has always stood apart, not just because of how he plays but because of how he leads. In a league full of alpha personalities and vocal superstars, Curry chose a different route, leading with intentional humility, unshakable confidence, and contagious joy. And in doing so, he became the quiet architect of one of the NBA's greatest dynasties. From the start of the Golden State Warriors' rise, Curry never demanded the spotlight, even when it was rightfully his. He shared it, with teammates, coaches, the city, and even his critics. He didn't need to shout or dominate every possession to make his presence felt. Instead, he let his example do the talking. Behind closed doors, teammates describe a leader who works relentlessly but never isolates others. Someone who uplifts role players, respects every voice in the locker room, and embraces accountability whether the team wins or loses. Curry doesn't lead with fear, he leads with faith. This leadership style helped form a culture in Golden State that prioritized chemistry, selflessness, and trust. It's no coincidence that this environment fostered excellence from stars like Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, or helped unlock the talents of lesser-known players who thrived in their roles. And when Kevin Durant joined the team in 2016, it was Curry who made the sacrifice. Despite being the two-time reigning MVP, he allowed Durant to be the focal point on offense. He deferred shots, adjusted his game, and never let ego disrupt the system. That kind of unselfishness is rare among superstars, and nearly unheard of for one at the peak of his powers. It's that subtle brilliance that makes Curry's leadership unique. He doesn't force moments, he creates them for others. He doesn't seek validation, he earns it quietly, one possession at a time. Even during adversity, like the injury-plagued 2019 to 2021 stretch, Curry remained the heartbeat of the franchise. When others might have grown frustrated or checked out, he doubled down. He mentored younger players, kept the locker room focused, and continued to evolve his game. And when the Warriors returned to championship form in 2022, it was clear who had held the foundation together during the down years. Curry wasn't just the face of the dynasty, he was the soul of it. What separates him isn't just skill or accolades, it's his ability to lead without dominating. To build up those around him while never lowering his own standard. To lead with both fire and grace. In a league often driven by narratives of ego, control, and individual glory, Curry offered a different blueprint. One where success is shared, where leadership is earned through consistency, and where greatness doesn't need to shout to be heard. The result? For championships, 2 MVPs, and a legacy that goes far beyond numbers. He redefined how a superstar can lead, and what it means to elevate everyone around you. Curry proved that leadership isn't about control. It's about trust, belief, and the invisible work that builds dynasties from within. And in doing so, he didn't just win games, he won people. When fans think of Stephen Curry, one image comes instantly to mind. A smooth, almost effortless release from well beyond the arc, the ball barely grazing the net before the crowd erupts. But behind that iconic shot is a carefully crafted process. A blend of mechanics, repetition, vision, and mental sharpness that has elevated Curry into the most lethal shooter in basketball history. What makes Curry's shooting so revolutionary isn't just the distance or frequency. It's the consistency. He takes shots other players wouldn't even attempt, and makes them at an elite rate. This isn't luck. It's science. It's years of engineered repetition, biomechanics refinement, and muscle memory hardwired through thousands of hours of training. Curry's form is nearly textbook yet personalized. The release is quick but balanced. His feet are set, whether on a catch and shoot, off the dribble, or coming off a screen. The ball is released high with a natural arc and spin, minimizing the margin of error. What sets him apart isn't just execution, it's adaptability. Whether sprinting full speed or fading sideways, Curry keeps his mechanics nearly identical. He's also mastered one of the most underappreciated aspects of elite shooting: footwork. Watch closely and you'll see a ballet of pivots, jab steps, hesitations, and lightning-fast resets. His base is always prepared, even in chaos. This allows him to fire instantly from almost any position on the floor. Then there's his off-ball movement, relentless, precise, exhausting for defenders. Curry is rarely static. He weaves through screens, curls into open space, and uses the smallest defensive missteps as opportunities. It's this constant motion that creates space not just for himself, but for his teammates as well. Defenders chase, overcommit, and panic, often leading to easy looks for others or wide-open shots for Curry himself. But even with perfect form and movement, shooting at Curry's level requires a mental edge. His confidence is unwavering. He doesn't hesitate, doesn't doubt, and never fears the moment. Whether it's the first quarter or the final possession, his mindset remains the same: trust the work. That mental fortitude isn't just instinctual, it's built. Curry visualizes success, resets quickly after misses, and never lets a cold streak dictate his shot selection. His short memory for failure is a strength few players possess. It's not recklessness, it's belief. Off the court, his training routines are legendary. From dribbling with tennis balls while blindfolded to rapid-fire shooting under extreme fatigue, Curry trains for chaos. His goal isn't just to make shots when it's easy, but to perform when it's hardest. He conditions his body and mind to thrive under pressure. And perhaps most fascinating is how he changed perception. Before Curry, a 30-foot shot was seen as desperation. Now it's part of the offense. He expanded the court, not physically but conceptually. Defenders must pick him up near half court, spacing opens up and entire game plans shift. Younger players today model their form, drills, and confidence after Curry. Coaches design offenses around spacing and shooting. Even big men are encouraged to shoot from deep. The ripple effect of his shooting style transformed the league from the ground up. Stephen Curry made shooting more than a skill. He made it an art form, a weapon, a language, one that speaks louder than dunks or blocks or rebounds. And through it, he reshaped the geometry of the game and the expectations of what a modern scorer can be. Some rivalries are born from animosity, others from mutual greatness. The dynamic between Stephen Curry and LeBron James belongs to the latter, a rivalry fueled not by hatred, but by the persistent pursuit of excellence. Over the years, they've met on the game's biggest stages, not to tear each other down, but to push one another to greater heights. Their paths couldn't have been more different. LeBron, the chosen one from high school, entered the NBA with the weight of an entire league on his shoulders. Curry, the overlooked son of a former NBA player, had to prove himself at every level. His size, his shot, his durability all questioned. Yet, fate had them meet at their peaks time and time again. The 2015 to 2018 NBA Finals marked one of the most intense eras of modern basketball. The Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers became the center of the universe, and at the heart of it all stood Curry and LeBron, two contrasting forces shaping the game in their own image. LeBron, the physical marvel, dictated pace with brute strength, playmaking mastery, and court vision. Curry, the perimeter maestro, destabilized defenses with spacing, speed, and shooting. Their styles clashed, but their respect never wavered. In victory and defeat, neither downplayed the other. LeBron once called Curry one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen, while Curry acknowledged LeBron's once-in-a-generation presence. There was no cheap talk, no fabricated animosity, only competitive fire and a shared understanding of their place in the sport's evolution. As their careers advanced, the narrative shifted. Instead of being portrayed as simple opponents, they became co-authors of a golden chapter in NBA history. Their legacies are intertwined, not because one had to eclipse the other, but because each made the other matter more. They brought the best out of their teams. LeBron's 3-1 comeback in 2016 is etched in sports mythology, just as Curry's 73-9 season and 2015 MVP run remain benchmarks for brilliance. Each player's success in some way required the other's resistance. Beyond the numbers and banners, their rivalry became something deeper, a mirror. Each one reflected a different path to greatness. Curry showed how precision, innovation, and humility could lead a dynasty. LeBron proved that adaptability, longevity, and leadership could conquer any challenge. Even in recent years, as LeBron nears the twilight of his career and Curry continues his dominance, the rivalry remains present, evolving from war to wisdom. They greet each other with nods of mutual understanding now. Their battles feel less like clashes and more like celebrations of what they've built, together and apart. And now, with Bronny James entering the league and Curry mentoring a new wave of shooters, the legacy of their rivalry shifts again. It becomes about influence. Impact. The players they inspired, the systems they changed, and the standard they raised. Few rivalries leave the game better than they found it. Curry and LeBron did exactly that. Their story wasn't just about competition, it was about coexistence. Two legends, opposite in style but equal in impact, writing one of the most iconic duels the NBA has ever seen. In the end, it wasn't about who won more rings or scored more points. It was about how they carried the game forward, side by side. When people talk about legacy in the NBA, they often focus on stats, accolades, or championship rings. But with Stephen Curry, legacy isn't confined to the box score. His influence lies not just in what he's accomplished, but in how consistently and quietly he's done it over time. In a league where attention spans are short and headlines shift fast, Curry's greatness has never needed to scream. It's evolved naturally, built over seasons of unrelenting discipline, reinvention, and clutch brilliance. While other stars have come and gone in waves of hype and drama, Curry has remained steady, almost under the radar at times, simply doing what he does best, reshaping the game one shot at a time. There was never a season where Curry demanded the world stop and look at him. Yet here he stands with 4 championships, multiple MVPs, and a legacy that's still being written. His impact isn't tied to spectacle, it's tied to sustained excellence. What makes this even more remarkable is how he's managed to maintain his elite level while adapting to change. Curry's early years were defined by proving doubters wrong. Then came the rise of the Warriors dynasty, where he led with poise while transforming the team into a global powerhouse. When injuries and roster turnover hit, many expected a decline, but Curry used it as fuel to evolve further. In 2021, at age 33, he averaged over 32 points per game and led the league in scoring, despite being surrounded by a rebuilding squad. That season didn't end in a title, but it reminded everyone, Curry was still that guy. Still lethal, still leading, still redefining limits. This kind of longevity is rare, especially for a player whose style relies so much on movement, precision, and conditioning. While some stars slow down or alter their approach late in their careers, Curry has leaned into it. He's faster, stronger, and more efficient now than he was at 27. He's extended his prime through sheer commitment, diet, recovery, training, mindset. And while others age into different roles, Curry remains the focal point. Teams still scramble to stop him. Defenses still bend around his gravity. Coaches still lose sleep trying to limit his range. The league has evolved, but Curry stayed a step ahead. Part of his sustained success comes from something most superstars don't talk about: joy. Curry plays the game with genuine love, and that emotion fuels his consistency. His celebrations aren't choreographed, they're instinctive. A shimmy, a smile, a point to the sky. That joy connects him to fans and teammates alike. It's the thread that runs through his entire journey. He's also elevated others along the way. Younger players grow faster beside him. Veterans trust him. Coaches build entire philosophies around his abilities. His presence makes teams better, not just statistically but spiritually. Legacy in Curry's case isn't a peak moment. It's a continual motion, like his off-ball movement, always circling, always creating. He didn't just have a great season or a legendary finals. He's crafted a decade of dominance that feels effortless, but is anything but. And the most Curry-like part of it all? He still doesn't act like he's done. There's no retirement talk, no farewell tours. Just focus. Hunger. Another summer in the gym. Another season on the horizon. Curry's legacy isn't written in loud statements or dramatic exits. It's in the way the game looks now. The way kids shoot. The way defenses stretch. The way teammates move without the ball. The way basketball feels when he's on the floor. It's not just what he did, it's what he continues to do. A legacy still in motion. While Stephen Curry's on-court brilliance is widely documented, what often goes unnoticed is the unwavering foundation beneath it all. Behind the threes, the trophies, and the triumphs lies a deep core of values: faith, family, and focus. These elements, more than any stat or award, have shaped who Curry is and why he endures. From the beginning, Curry's faith has been central to his journey. He's never shied away from acknowledging it. Whether pointing to the sky after a big shot or wearing a wristband that reads, "I can do all things," Curry's belief system grounds him. It's not performative. It's personal. In interviews and in his actions, he's made it clear that his purpose stretches beyond basketball. This spiritual compass helps him navigate both the highs and the lows. Championships don't inflate his ego, and injuries or losses don't derail his resolve. His faith gives him balance, a clarity that many players struggle to find under the spotlight. It reminds him of who he is when the cameras are off and the arenas are quiet. Equally influential is Curry's deep connection to family. Born into a basketball household, with father Del Curry being an NBA veteran, Stephen grew up immersed in the rhythms of the game, but never lost in them. His parents emphasized humility, respect, and consistency long before he earned national attention. Those traits are still visible today. His relationship with his wife Aisha and their children has become a defining aspect of his identity. He's not just a global icon, he's a father who shows up, a husband who prioritizes time at home, and a son who carries his family's legacy with pride. His life isn't sectioned into NBA star and family man, it's all integrated. And that balance keeps him grounded. In the fast-paced world of pro sports, where athletes often chase brand deals, headlines, and off-court validation, Curry has quietly chosen stability. He's remained loyal to one franchise. He's avoided public controversy. He's built a reputation based not only on performance but on character. This quiet focus is one of his superpowers. Curry doesn't chase narratives. He writes them through discipline and intention. His training isn't fueled by spite, but by love of craft. He doesn't need to prove people wrong, he wants to keep getting better. It's why even after multiple MVP seasons, he still tweaks his mechanics. Still studies film. Still shows up early and stays late. What makes his story so compelling is that his greatness doesn't come from rage or revenge. It comes from peace. From knowing exactly who he is, and why he plays. In moments of pressure, that inner clarity becomes a competitive advantage. While others tighten up, Curry relaxes. He smiles in fourth quarters. He dances during warm-ups. That joy isn't a show, it's a product of deep inner alignment. He's done the work. He trusts the process. He knows what matters. And that's why fans connect with him in a way few athletes experience. He's relatable despite being elite. He's aspirational yet accessible. Curry reminds people that greatness can come from grace, not just grit. In an era where many stars brand themselves as larger than life, Curry's approach is refreshingly human. He doesn't need chaos to thrive. He finds power in calm. His dominance is driven not by chaos, but by clarity. That's the secret not only to his game, but to his longevity. Stephen Curry didn't just become a legend through talent. He did it through alignment. His faith keeps him anchored. His family keeps him present. And his focus keeps him ascending. And that's what makes his foundation unshakable. When Stephen Curry began launching deep threes with fearless regularity, few realized he wasn't just making shots, he was breaking the system. Slowly, then suddenly, the entire structure of modern basketball began to shift. What seemed like a personal revolution became a league-wide evolution. And at the center of it all was a 6 feet 2 inches guard with babyface charm and a flamethrower release. Basketball had long been defined by physical dominance. Above-the-rim plays, post-up bruisers, and isolation showdowns. Curry introduced a new formula: space, speed, and skill. His shooting range stretched defenses beyond conventional logic. His off-ball movement forced coaches to rethink spacing principles. His mere presence on the court bent defensive game plans. It wasn't just that he made shots others wouldn't try, it was that he did it with efficiency and volume, and he never stopped moving. He didn't rely on size or strength to dominate. He relied on timing, vision, footwork, and touch. The message was clear. Basketball IQ and shooting precision could overpower brute force. As Curry's influence grew, so did his impact on the numbers. Teams began to take more threes. Big men were encouraged to space the floor. Coaches restructured their offenses to prioritize movement, ball handling, and perimeter shooting. What was once seen as unconventional became the new normal. Curry hadn't just joined the conversation. He'd shifted the rules of engagement. By the late 2010s, the Curry effect was visible at every level of the game. Young players were practicing step-back threes before learning post moves. High school gyms echoed with long-range jumpers. AAU teams ran motion offenses mimicking Golden State's. The NBA itself adapted, with entire franchises recalibrating around pace and space systems designed in Curry's image. And yet, the most fascinating part of this evolution is how Curry did it without demanding the spotlight. He didn't pound his chest or campaign for MVPs. He just kept playing his way, joyful, efficient, relentless, and forced the world to catch up. Defensively, teams began trapping him 35 feet from the basket. But the more they tried to contain him, the more his teammates thrived. Curry's gravity, the way defenders followed him even when he didn't have the ball, opened lanes, created mismatches, and turned good teams into great ones. He didn't dominate every possession like a traditional superstar. Sometimes his greatest plays were screens, decoys, or simple passes. But those subtle contributions often led to devastating results. His fingerprints were everywhere, even when he wasn't scoring. The ripple effect extended off the court too. Curry helped redefine what a superstar looked like. He wasn't the tallest, fastest, or flashiest, but he was the most disciplined, the most creative, the most transformative. In a league obsessed with potential, he proved production mattered more than profile. Even as others began copying his style, no one quite replicated it. Because Curry's brilliance isn't just in the shots, it's in the mind behind them. His decision-making, rhythm, timing, and spatial awareness are years ahead of most players. He reads defenses like a quarterback, calculating angles and timing in real time. And unlike fads that fade with trends, Curry's impact continues to deepen. His influence is now institutional. NBA rosters are built differently. Youth coaches teach differently. Analytics departments value players differently. It's not just that Curry changed the game, it's that the game will never go back to what it was. What Stephen Curry did wasn't a phase. It was a redefinition. And the blueprint? It bears his name. Stephen Curry may now be regarded as one of the greatest players of all time, but the underdog in him never disappeared. In fact, it's still there, quietly powering each practice, each shot, each playoff run. For all his success, Curry has never forgotten the doubt that once defined him. And in many ways he still plays like he has something to prove. Coming out of high school, he wasn't heavily recruited. Too small. Too thin. Not explosive enough. Most top basketball programs passed on him, doubting whether his game could scale to the college level, let alone the pros. It was Davidson, a small mid-major school, that gave him a chance. And Curry made the world pay attention, turning that opportunity into a national sensation during the 2008 NCAA tournament. Even then, scouts weren't sold. They questioned his ability to defend, his ball handling, his durability. When the 2009 NBA draft arrived, he wasn't the number one pick. He wasn't even in the top 5. Teams with front offices full of data and experts chose others, because Curry didn't fit their mold. Golden State took a chance. And even after that, his early NBA years were full of ankle injuries, coaching changes, and a franchise that hadn't made real noise in decades. The doubters didn't go away, they just got louder. But Curry did what he always does. He adjusted, improved, endured. It's that persistence that defines him as much as his shooting. He doesn't explode with arrogance or ride emotional highs. He channels adversity into craft. Every setback, every injury, every criticism has been absorbed and reconfigured into growth. Even after MVP seasons and championships, he never acted like the job was done. When Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, some said Curry had taken a back seat. He didn't fight the narrative. He sacrificed touches and headlines so the team could thrive. Then, when Durant left and the Warriors fell into a rebuild, Curry responded with a 62-point performance and another All-NBA season, just to remind the world that the engine never stopped running. The underdog mentality never left him. It just evolved. Today he doesn't play for validation. He plays because it's who he is. Someone who finds motivation in being overlooked, underestimated, and underappreciated. It keeps him sharp. It keeps him humble. It keeps him hungry. That quiet chip on his shoulder has become a defining element of his leadership. He doesn't need to dominate with words or force. He leads by example, by effort, by the way he carries himself through wins and losses, through slumps and surges. You can see it in the way he interacts with younger teammates. He lifts them. He listens. He shares wisdom but never imposes. He's not just teaching them how to win, he's teaching them how to endure, how to work, how to keep believing when no one else does. And for fans, this part of Curry's story is the most relatable. Everyone knows what it feels like to be doubted, to be overlooked, to have your potential questioned. Curry's career is proof that none of those labels have to define you. He built his greatness on something deeper than talent. It was belief. The belief that skill, repetition, and character could beat out hype and narrative. The belief that you don't have to be the loudest to be the best. And the belief that being counted out can be the greatest gift. The beauty of Curry's rise is that it never relied on the spotlight. He let the work speak. And now, years later, with records shattered and banners raised, he still trains, still studies, still pushes. Because the underdog in him still whispers, they still don't believe you. And that voice keeps him moving. Stephen Curry will be remembered for changing the game of basketball, but his true legacy may stretch far beyond the three-point line. Because long after the threes stop falling and the courts go quiet, what will remain is the impact he's had as a man, a leader, and a cultural force far bigger than the sport. For years, Curry has used his platform not just to entertain but to empower. His off-court presence is defined by intention. He's never chased controversy or spotlight, but when he speaks, it matters. And when he acts, it inspires. One of the most visible aspects of his legacy is his investment in youth and education. Through his foundation Eat, Learn, Play, Curry has tackled issues ranging from childhood hunger to early literacy and physical activity. In underserved communities, his programs have helped rebuild playgrounds, fund school meals, and provide books and resources to kids who need them most. It's not a side project, it's central to who he is. He's also shown a deep commitment to equality. Whether championing gender equity in sports or advocating for voting access, Curry consistently steps into conversations that require courage. In a league full of personalities, he remains one of the most authentic voices, not because he's the loudest but because he speaks with clarity and conviction when it matters. Then there's his impact on business and media. Curry has become a powerful figure in the world of sports entrepreneurship. With his company Unanimous Media, he's created space for stories centered around family, faith, and social progress, redefining what athlete-driven content can look like. He's also entered venture capital, backing companies aligned with his values from tech to sustainability. Yet through all this expansion he's stayed remarkably grounded. Fame has never changed his core. He still shows up early, still smiles during warm-ups, still walks into press conferences with humility. For someone who's influenced global culture, Curry remains surprisingly unchanged by it. And his influence isn't just felt through what he does, it's also in what he represents. To millions, Curry stands as proof that greatness doesn't have to come with arrogance, that you can be competitive without being cutthroat, that joy and success can coexist, that leadership can be quiet, yet undeniable. Young players don't just copy his stepbacks, they try to mirror his mindset, his discipline, his respect for the game. He's become a role model not because he asked for it, but because he earned it moment by moment over a career built on consistency and character. Even his family reflects that ethos. His wife Aisha has become a powerhouse in her own right, leading businesses, writing cookbooks, and building community initiatives. Together, they've created a model of what balance can look like at the highest level, of how to chase dreams without losing sight of what matters most. And so, when the day comes that Curry takes his final shot, the applause will be for far more than his scoring records or championships. It will be for the way he played, the way he treated people, the way he left every space, on and off the court, better than he found it. He's already built a basketball legacy few will ever match. But perhaps his greatest achievement is this: he's built a life that transcends the game. A life rooted in purpose, defined by integrity, and driven by a vision far beyond personal glory. Stephen Curry didn't just change how basketball is played. He changed what greatness looks like. And that legacy, quiet, powerful, unshakable, will echo far beyond the arc. Stephen Curry's influence isn't confined to the hardwood courts of the NBA. It resonates in playgrounds, gyms, and communities around the world. His story has sparked a ripple effect that continues to inspire countless young athletes who see in him a blueprint for success built on hard work, humility, and heart. Unlike many superstars who tower physically over their peers, Curry's journey demonstrates that determination and skill can outweigh natural advantages. This message has empowered a new wave of players who may not fit the traditional mold but possess the grit and vision to redefine what's possible. In cities from Oakland to overseas, kids emulate Curry's signature shot, but more importantly, they adopt his mindset. They learn that greatness is earned daily, in the early morning workouts, the extra shots after practice, the patience during setbacks. Curry's narrative champions resilience and growth, teaching that obstacles aren't roadblocks but stepping stones. Coaches at every level have taken note. Curry's style has encouraged them to emphasize shooting, spacing, and basketball IQ, shifting the training focus towards skill development over sheer athleticism. This evolution is already evident in how younger generations approach the game, more versatile, more strategic, and more connected. The cultural impact also extends beyond basketball skills. Curry's visible joy and authenticity remind young athletes that passion and fun are integral to success. His infectious smile and humility make him approachable, a role model who feels attainable rather than distant. Beyond sports, Curry's philanthropic efforts offer a model of giving back that transcends fame. Young fans see him as someone who uses his platform responsibly, championing education, equality, and health. His example encourages youth not just to dream big, but to lead with purpose. Furthermore, Curry's business ventures and media presence illustrate that athletes can excel off the court too, fostering a new generation of player entrepreneurs who balance sport with savvy entrepreneurship and social impact. In many ways, Curry's ripple effect is a reminder that greatness isn't isolated, it's contagious. It spreads through mentorship, example, and community. His legacy is alive in the young players who lace up their sneakers dreaming of emulating his moves, but also in the values they carry forward. As Curry continues to play, lead, and evolve, the waves he creates will grow wider, inspiring generations long after the final buzzer sounds. His impact is a testament to how one individual, grounded in faith, family, and focus, can change not just the game but the world around it. As Stephen Curry's career approaches its twilight, the question lingers. What will be the final imprint of his remarkable journey? Beyond the dazzling highlights and record-breaking performances, Curry's true legacy will be found in the lasting lessons he leaves behind, for basketball, for leadership, and for life. Every legend faces an ending, but Curry's story isn't about a conclusion. It's about the enduring principles that shaped him: perseverance in the face of doubt, joy in the pursuit of excellence, humility amidst greatness, and an unwavering commitment to purpose. His final shot won't just be the last three-pointer made under the bright lights. It will be the cumulative effect of a career that transformed perceptions, about what it means to lead, to innovate, and to inspire. Curry showed that size is no barrier, that consistency beats flashiness, and that true greatness stems from character. Even as the crowds grow quieter and the seasons pass, the echo of his influence will resonate. Coaches will still teach his moves. Young players will still aim to emulate his unshakable confidence. Communities will continue to benefit from his generosity and vision. Curry's story is a blueprint for anyone striving to rewrite their own narrative. It's a testament to the power of belief, not blind optimism, but the grounded confidence built through relentless effort and authentic living. He reminds us that greatness isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's earned by those who embrace their unique path with passion and integrity. As the final buzzer approaches, the basketball world will celebrate more than just a player. They will honor a man who changed the game and, in doing so, changed the lives of millions. A man whose legacy is not confined to stats or trophies, but lives in the hearts of those inspired by his journey. Stephen Curry's last shot will be timeless, not because of the points it scores but because of the doors it opens for generations to come. And that, perhaps, is the greatest victory of all.